iconic wind class ships, yachts, motor sailing yacht. She's an MSY, a motor sailing yacht, I think. We set sail from Bastia earlier this evening. We docked. Oh, YouTube telling me I'm live. Thank you. I'm in my cabin. It's very comfortable. I'm at like a table and chairs in my cabin. It's lovely. Everyone has a cabin like this apart from the one person who has an owner's suite. Very spacious for, in essence, a rigged ship. I've cruised on one rigged ship before, and the cabin was probably about the half the size of this one, so that it just shows you how big it is. It's incredible. I'm glad I did it this way around because it would be cramped otherwise. But yeah, and the bathroom's huge as well. I should do a live actually and do a tour of the cabin. Maybe I'll tidy it up. I've got pieces of paper. Oh, I've not got that many pieces of paper around, but I'll tidy it up, and before the cruise is out, I'll do a live tour of this cabin. What was I saying? So today, Bastia, Corsica. I've never been to Corsica before, and it's beautiful. I think I learnt last year that it was France. They're not so keen on being French though, having the guide talk to us, which is fair enough. I think they want their autonomy, as many countries, islands, places do. I don't know enough about it to comment, but, you know, fair play. If you want autonomy, you want autonomy, and good luck to them. But yes, at the moment, part of France. We docked right in Bastia. It used to be the capital, but then I think it changed. Oh gosh, I can't remember the name of the place it changed to, but I know the place it changed to was where Napoleon was born, so he changed it. But Bastia used to be the capital, and it was a lovely little port town city. It's quite big. So basically off the yacht, you literally down the staircase off, and you're more or less there in more or less the city centre. That's the joy of these small ships. They can get right into towns and cities, so you don't waste time transferring into places or walking into places. You also, because there's only like 138, I think, of us on board, there's no queuing for anything, which is lovely. It just means you spend much more time on your holiday rather than queuing or transferring. So I did a short excursion today, and that was a travel to a winery. Again, I've said I don't probably drink a unit a year. I've probably drunk my year's supply over the last couple of days. However, I don't really know much about wine, so I thought, and also, you know, I want to do and show people what they can do on a Windstar cruise. So most people like wine. I'm in the minority. And I thought it'd be interesting to go and learn about wine, to see vineyards, which are usually beautiful and very nice to photograph, and yeah, to hear about how places make wine, and all the different types of wine. Do you know, I was quite ignorant to all that. There's red wine, there's white wine, there's rosé, there's dessert wine. I didn't really twig that was a thing, so tried that today, and that was delicious, but not something I would drink much. Very, very sweet, but nice to try. You know, and I say tasters, you know, there's a very tiny amount in your glass. Yeah, so got on the coach. There was only 11 of us on tour, so that was lovely, which I think is probably quite... I mean, yesterday we had about maybe 24, 25, but 11 was a nice number, and I knew quite a few of them from meeting on the ship, meeting on other excursions, and meeting on the dining table I had last night, the hosted dining table. So our coach, it was a lot of traffic because one of the ferries had just come in, so our guide asked if we mind doing the drive like the wrong way round, which none of us did. We didn't mind at all. So we drove over a big mountain pass into sort of the next valley, and the views were beautiful, really beautiful. And then because it's such a clear, beautiful, sunny day, we had views for miles. It was lovely. And actually we could see Elba, where we'd come from yesterday. And then the guide was very good. She gave us, you know, the narration as we're driving along. She was a local. And then we drove to a lovely little spot. I've forgotten what the town was called, but it was beautiful. And a little, again, a little port. There was a lovely marina there. And in the summer, it's very busy for transferring people to the beautiful beaches that are there. So we had half an hour to wander around, follow our noses, took some photos. It was lovely. I mean, I guess time for people to go for coffee if they wanted. And then we're back on the coach, and then off we went to the winery. So the winery was very interesting. It's one of the oldest on the island. It's very successful and award-winning. And the gentleman who started it in the 1960s, his son now runs it. And then his grandson showed us around. So his grandson, actually, his English was fluent. He's born in Corsica, but went to school in boarding school in Yorkshire from 12, and then lived there for university as well. So he didn't quite sound like he was from Yorkshire, hadn't picked up that accent, but he had a very clear accent. And he was clearly very passionate about the family wine business. He took us on a tour from where the grapes come into the winery, and we could see the vines where they all grow. And then, although he was interesting, they were saying they have quite a few different plots of land in different areas, so that if bugs attack one vine, or flood or fire or anything attacks one, they always have other plots available to make to grow their grapes, and so then they can make their wine. So yeah, he took us on a tour from where the grapes come into the little factory they had there to where they're bottled, and then we tasted them after as well. Sorry, my phone's moving around. I didn't bring my what's it called, like tripod, because I flew hand luggage only to here, and I've had trouble only in Germany though, where they think it's a weapon, which it's not. They didn't like my Insta360 either. Don't use that enough. I really should use it more. But yeah, so I'm just a bit nervous now, because I had a German man sort of shouting, going, "What is the stick? There's no stick." Anyway, back to the winery. So yeah, so I think he went on and on a bit too much. I think the guide was trying to hurry along, but it was lovely because he was passionate and it was interesting, really interesting. And then we tasted wines. Yeah, so I didn't know they can store wines. Well, they stored wines and let them age in a concrete flask, or an oak barrel, and steel containers. Whilst we were there, his dad and a gentleman from another vineyard on Corsica and some official were coming to do their weekly check of the wine that was in the steel vats, to check that it was to check it hadn't oxidated too much or not enough, and to just check that it was coming along okay in the vats. So that was interesting. And then yeah, we had the tasting, so that was nice, and they had lots of charcuterie with it. He said that actually most of their wine they sell on Corsica, 80%, and then 20% goes to the French mainland. They've won many awards for their wine, and there was a few of them that actually tasted really nice. I mean, yeah. I mean, the ones that they all tasted nice. Like that sounds very wrong. They all tasted nice, but it's not something that I would drink a lot of. There was a vintage one, and I can appreciate how that was better than the others. It was really interesting having him telling you, what the tastes were, what the flavours were, and actually I could taste them, and yeah. So some of the people on the tour bought wine, I think to bring back to the ship and drink here, and I guess to take home some of them. I think you can buy online. I did have a look on their website, and I don't think the prices were too extortionate or anything, but to think of all the effort and expertise that goes into making it, yeah, that was really interesting to learn about. Yeah, and then we left the winery and drove back. We had spent a lot of time there because his tour was very in depth and very interesting. So we drove back the same way, because if we'd gone another way back, it would have taken longer. But this pass that we drove over was beautiful, beautiful views. I'm not sure I would have wanted to sit at the front of the coach, because I think they don't really have fences on the side of the road. But I was a bit further back, so, and I'm not scared of heights, but I think it's just a bit nail biting maybe at times. So then we went back to the ship, and I got on the ship with the idea of going for some lunch. So I'd had breakfast in my cabin in the morning, and I had an omelette and some coffee and some fruit juice, and then I had lunch. So I had lunch in the veranda, al fresco, outside, which was nice. Beautiful sunshine today, 23 degrees I think, so that was nice. They all know my name up there now, which is very sweet, and they have your, and they have your drinks order, like Sprite, it just appears, and water, lots of still water, rehydrate. I had the fish of the day, which was salmon, black salmon, really delicious. I just ordered literally the fish. I didn't really want any potato. I'm not into starchy carbs much. And then this little pot of ratatouille came, so that was nice. And that was nice. It was just enough, you know, like I didn't feel full, didn't feel hungry. It was perfect. A lovely, beautiful fillet of salmon. And then, what did I do then? Oh, then I got off the ship. So I came back to the cabin, just went to the bathroom, and then got off the ship and went for a walk. So I only walked about 2.5k. I was a bit scared because it wasn't too long until the ship was going and all aboard. But wanted to do a bit of a walk because hadn't really walked during the day. So I went and followed and went to the old marina, which was really nice, the old port. You literally just follow the water around and you get there on like a higher up walkway. And then, yeah, went for a wander around, and then saw if you wanted coffee or gelato, there was lots of places there, and lots of places for lunch if people wanted lunch ashore. And then I saw some steps up to this church, so I thought, well, I'll go up those, it's good exercise. So up the steps I went. I think there were 32, I counted them, so not too many. And then I realised, looking on the map, that I was near the big town square they have. I think it's one of the biggest town squares in France. And then there was lots of like little kids fun fair things going on there. So I potted back to the ship, basically. Took some photos, and then got back on the ship, and then there was an announcement by the captain that the sails had been mended, which is incredible. So when yesterday, the day before, he had come on and said that unfortunately the sails, the control room for the sails had a flood with salt water, so everything had broken, the mechanism for putting the sails up. So this ship has 5 sails, I think, and obviously it then sails by wind power and can reduce the engine usage, I guess. So we've just been going on the engine for the last few days, and mostly still are, to be fair. But yeah, he made an announcement saying that the sails would be going up. Everyone was back on board by like 4:10, and I think the on-board time was 4:30, so we're all very punctual, which is good. And yes, so he said about the sails. So he said at 5 o'clock, I think it was, we would sail away as the planned time, and soon after we leave the port, then they hope to put the sail up. So he did say there's only one sail that's working at the moment. There's been 2 gentlemen, and I've noticed them. I noticed them in Rome, and I noticed them yesterday, and they're still on today, bless them. And I noticed them, and they were mending. If you go up on, like, I think it's called the fly bridge, and look down the ship, you can see them working hard, bless them, in the sort of area below all the masts. So I've been watching them working hard, and they've worked so hard, bless them, and yeah, they managed to mend one sail. So out we went, and then if you've not been on a rig ship, they play this like atmospheric music whilst the sails rise. They did it on Golden Horizon, and it's just incredible. And you just watch these sails go, and then the ship sails off. It's just incredible. So it was only with one sail, but I'm not. It's amazing to see the one sail, and I can't begin to imagine the work they've had to do to mend that. Salt water and electronics, don't mix, do they? I mean, we're really lucky it didn't take out the electrics of the ship. Luckily, it was just the sails. But yes, so that was lovely, really lovely. And hopefully by the end of the cruise, they'll be able to fix some more of the sails. So one, like the middle one of the 5 is working, and I think it's still up now. So yes, hopefully more later in the cruise, and then maybe I do a live showing you it going up. It's a bit windy up there though, obviously, to have a sail. Not going to have sails up if there's no wind. But yes, that made my day, seeing the sails go up. And also, I didn't mind if they weren't going to work, because safety first, and these things happen. Things happen, in the great scheme of things. I'm on a luxury ship enjoying a wonderful trip. So the sails going up is just the icing on the cake, so to speak. If they didn't go up, it wouldn't lessen the trip in any way, because it's amazing. But yes, on that note, so I had dinner in Fora tonight. I did eat by myself. I was a bit antisocial, but I realised I wolfed my food down. And then it's nice to come out and just catch up with some bits and pieces, sharing some content of this trip. Excuse me, I'm doing this and things. So I did also speak to Dave, my husband. And yeah, so I was a bit antisocial tonight, but I'll be eating with people tomorrow because it's a deck barbecue, so I'll tell you what that's about. It sounds very interesting. And on the excursion as well, I've had a few people speak to me today asking me if I'm on the wine excursion tomorrow, getting a bit of a reputation for myself considering I don't drink wine. It's just bizarre. But anyway, just fascinated by how they're so different in different places as well. Anyway, that's my uneducated wine ramblings. So yes, I had dinner, which was lovely. I had a chicken tikka masala and like a goat cheese souffle, which was delicious, really nice. The food is incredible. And then I've come back to my cabin to do some bits and pieces, and I've got a a few little gifts. I've got a little gift here, 180 degrees from Ordinary Local Suite. So Windstar's tag is 180 degrees from Ordinary, and they live up to that. And look, there's a little cookie here, which is very cute. A cookie from Bastia, I think it says. Enjoy the cookies from Bastia. And then I've also got a lovely bookmark, which is very nice. And then, that way. Which is handy because I've bought myself the first book in a while all about Antarctica. I think I've got it here. It's very, very interesting. I've only just started it. There. Really interesting book. Thought I'd better learn more about Antarctica before I go in January. So, and then actually during dinner, occasionally I did have a look at a book I had on my phone that I did not realise I had downloaded. But it's all about the geopolitics of maps. So that's very interesting as well. Yeah, on that note, I'm going to do a bit of content and sort out a few bits and pieces. And then I'm going to go to bed. And I think I'm going to try and get up to watch sunrise. It's not particularly early. It's something like 7 o'clock. So if I get a good night's sleep, and then, which I will, because apparently it's going to be rocky from midnight, the captain said. The wind and swell will go up then. He's going to put the stabilizers out, but I think there'll be significant swell and from midnight. But we're all going to be in bed generally by then, so that's fine. I will definitely be in bed by then. And it will rock me to sleep. That's the lovely feeling of here, actually. It rocks you if it is rough. It was rough the other night. I love that on here they don't put sick bags out. They put antiemetics out, so you can help yourself to an antiemetic, as anti-sickness tablet. I didn't need one. I'm very lucky in that I don't really get seasick. I don't think as a kid I was told it was a thing. My parents watched these, so they trained me well. Thank you. And then, yeah, I didn't need a tablet. I felt fine. I think the thing with seasickness is eat something. Right? Even if it's just a piece of bread or something, I think people feel sick because their stomachs are empty. Yeah, and probably best not to drink. But I mean, I don't drink anyway, but I don't think that helps. Although, saying that, I didn't feel sick with the movement, but it was hard to walk. And like, I'm young and have no injuries or anything, so it's probably a bit dangerous for people if they are older or have any injury or stick or so in that way it's probably best to drink, and then maybe your drunkenness and moving counteracts the swell. I don't know. Don't quote me. But yes, I'm going to go to bed now. Well, I'm going to sort out some bits and pieces, and then I'm going to go to bed. And then hopefully tomorrow we're in Calvi, which is also in Corsica. So we're not going far. About 80 kilometers, I think they said, or maybe 180 kilometers. Not far. Can't be 180. Basically, Corsica is like that, but the other way around. Let me do it like that. And we've come from like this, no, underneath my thumb here, and we've got to go all the way around the thumb bit to the bit here. So I don't think it's far. They said to drive from Bastia, where we were today, to Calvi, where we're going tomorrow, would be about 2 hours, 3 hours. Although they were saying because they go over so many hills in Corsica, the distance is always done in time, not in distance, in how much time it will take you to do it, because going up over mountains. Also, fun fact that I didn't know, every day is a school day, you may already know, Corsica has ski stations, they were saying, so I think that might be like chairlifts. It's not resorts, it's not that big, but they have 4 ski stations where people can ski. Did not know that was a thing, in the middle of the Mediterranean. Ski resort, who knew? I didn't. You may have known. Yes, I mean, obviously it's mostly locals that go skiing there because it's cheaper than going over to France and the mainland, I think. But yeah, it's quite cool. Very, very high up in the winter. They've got everything. Tropical beaches, beautiful beaches, lagoons where they grow. It made me laugh. They were like, the guide was telling us, the lagoon is a nature reserve and there are so many birds there. Most birds that migrate from Europe to Africa will stop there. And then, you know, birds, and they're so protected and blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, oh, we have oyster and mussel farms. I'm like, oh, so you're all right if you're a bird, you're protected. If you're an oyster or a mussel, you're going to get eaten. Yeah. Not by me, though, because I don't like them. Yeah, on that note, I am going to go to bed. An hour ahead of the UK here, although I don't know where in the world people are from. But, oh, hello, Christopher. Thank you for watching. Yeah, take care. I'll try and come on tomorrow and tell you